A wealthy and emotionally distant businessman must confront his deepest fears and learn the meaning of love when his grandfather sets an unusual condition for him to inherit the family fortune. Before we begin, let us know in the comments which city you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. James Whitmore, a self-made tycoon, thrived on logic and control. He believed in results, not relationships. Love? To him, it was a luxury he neither needed nor wanted. But one morning, as James sat in his sleek office overlooking the city, his world was upended. His grandfather, Henry Whitmore, the man who had inspired his relentless drive, was gravely ill. Henry's lawyer arrived with the will, and its conditions were shocking. James, to inherit your grandfather's estate, you must be married before he passes away, the lawyer explained. James frowned. Married? His disbelief echoed in the room. Why would he add such an absurd condition? The lawyer replied, your grandfather believes that success without love is empty. He wants you to find someone who will balance your life. James scoffed at the sentimentality, but as he drove to the hospital to visit Henry, the image of his ailing grandfather weighed heavily on him. At the hospital, Henry greeted James with a weak but sincere smile. James, he said, his voice raspy, I want to know you'll be truly happy. Money isn't everything. James tried to deflect, insisting his work brought him fulfillment. But deep down, he knew his grandfather's words carried truth. He had built a life devoid of warmth and connection, and now, to secure the inheritance, he needed a wife. Back in his penthouse, James thought about how to solve this dilemma efficiently. Marriage was a formality, after all. If he could find someone willing to enter a temporary arrangement, it would suffice. The next day, James stopped by his usual café to grab coffee and clear his mind. There, he noticed Emma, the café's owner, putting up a closed sign with a dejected expression. Curious, James asked, shutting down? Emma sighed. I have no choice. The debts are too much. This café was my dream, but it's slipping away. James hesitated, then an idea formed. Emma needed help, and he needed a wife. Could this be the solution? What if I told you there's a way to save your café? He asked, studying her reaction. Emma looked at him, confused but intrigued. James explained his situation and proposed a temporary, contractual marriage. In exchange, I'll pay off your debts and fund your café's expansion, he said bluntly. Emma laughed in disbelief. You want me to marry you? For money? James nodded, his tone matter of fact. It's just business. We'll annul the marriage once the inheritance is secured. Emma hesitated, torn between her principles and her desperation to save her dream. After much contemplation, she agreed. Their courthouse wedding was devoid of romance, witnessed only by Henry, whose joy brought a pang of guilt to James and Emma. Henry's frail hands trembled as he blessed their union, unaware of the truth behind it. To maintain appearances, James and Emma began attending social events together. Emma, a simple and kind-hearted woman, felt out of place in James's world of luxury and power. Meanwhile, James began noticing Emma's warmth and authenticity, qualities he had long dismissed as unimportant. Over time, Emma's genuine nature began to influence James. At a high-stakes investors meeting, her heartfelt speech about community and dreams captivated the room, achieving what James's cold precision often failed to do. He realized there was power in vulnerability and connection. One evening, after a charity gala, Emma asked James, have you ever thought about what truly makes you happy? James hesitated, the question striking a nerve. Happiness doesn't matter. Results do, he replied curtly. But Emma's words lingered, forcing him to confront feelings he had long buried. As the days turned into weeks, the dynamic between James and Emma began to shift. They shared more honest conversations, laughed at small moments, and even found comfort in each other's presence. For James, this was uncharted territory. However, the charade couldn't last forever. Henry, ever observant, began to notice cracks in their facade. His intuition told him something was amiss. Determined to uncover the truth, he hired a private investigator. When Henry confronted James with the findings, the disappointment in his voice was devastating. I trusted you, James. This wasn't about money. It was about teaching you what really matters. You've let me down. Henry revoked James's inheritance, leaving him to reflect on the consequences of his choices. For the first time, James felt the weight of his actions, not because of the loss of wealth, but because he had hurt the two people he cared about most, Henry and Emma. Unable to suppress his growing feelings for Emma, James went to her café. She was closing up for the night when he arrived, looking uncharacteristically vulnerable. I started this as a lie, James admitted, but it's no longer about the inheritance. I've fallen in love with you, Emma. Emma, still hurt by the betrayal, replied, Love isn't just words, James. You have to show me you've changed. Determined to prove his sincerity, James began rebuilding their relationship. He supported Emma's dreams, helped her cafe thrive, and opened his heart to the people around him. Over time, Emma saw the transformation in James. Months later, James proposed to Emma, not with a contract, but with a heartfelt declaration of love. You've shown me what it means to truly live. Will you be my wife, for real this time? Emma smiled through tears. Yes, James, I will. Their wedding was a celebration of love, attended by friends, family, and Henry, who had regained some strength. As James and Emma exchanged vows, Henry smiled, knowing his grandson had finally learned the most valuable lesson of all. Love is the greatest legacy. As they began their life together, James and Emma proved that even the most unlikely beginnings could lead to profound, lasting happiness. What did you think of James and Emma's journey? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more inspiring stories.